In this village, there was a terrifying tradition. Once a mother reached the age of 50, her son was expected to carry her to the mountaintop and push her off. One day, a stone slipped from the roof of a house. The elderly mother, who had just turned 50 that day, grew anxious. When she saw her son John come out, she gestured for him to put the stone back on the roof. However, John only adjusted her pillow and then went to fetch water. As he prepared to do so, he noticed that the family's only sheep had died, and drawing water from the well was unusually difficult. The sunlight in the distance caught John's eye, and he instinctively looked towards the horizon, feeling as though the distant cliff was beckoning him. John sighed, suddenly realizing that fate could not be defied. With no other choice, John brought out a rope, secured his mother tightly, and began the journey up the mountain. As they entered the dark forest, the mother deliberately dropped her pillow behind them and signaled John to go back and retrieve it. When John bent down, she shook the makeshift carrier, nearly causing him to stumble. That evening, as they rested, John sat beside her, eating some dry rations. He offered some to his mother, but she turned her head away. Yet, when John fell asleep, she secretly ate the food. Before dawn, John resumed the journey, carrying his mother on his back as they traversed steep peaks and rugged paths. They finally reached the base of the cliff, but instead of continuing, John decided to rest for another night. That night, the cold wind made his mother shiver uncontrollably. John wanted to speak to her, to say something, but he didn't know how to start. The next day, John carried his mother up to the cliff's edge. As he looked at the steep precipice, he reached out and began climbing. Below him was an abyss with no bottom in sight. One misstep would mean certain death. Just as John was about to reach the top, the shoulder strap suddenly slipped and his mother nearly fell. Terrified, John used all his strength to secure the strap back in place. When they finally reached the cliff top, the village below looked stunning in the sunlight. John called for his mother to take a look, only to realize that she had stopped breathing. A moment later, a stone fell from her grasp. It turned out that the mother had been holding the stone close to her chest to slow John's pace, just so she could spend a little more time with her son.